Joe Harrogate's Wellness Wednesday with O'Connor Chiropractic, optimising the health potential of every family through chiropractic care.
Dr. Jason, back, sciatica, neck and joint pain, what do they all have in common, and how can a chiropractic like your good self help?
Yeah, these are the most common symptoms people come in with. Let's say a fire alarm went off in this building now. We can hear the noise, it's irritating to the ears, but there's usually, if it's not a drill, it's telling you that something's not right, whether it's a fire or whatever. So we could get rid of that by taking the batteries out of the fire alarm. But are we really dealing with the issue? So the way you've got to look at it is headaches, Mike. So people are I've got this pain and describing it, and it goes down my leg and it's, it's burning, it's this pain. I've got this headaches in my temple and it's, it's like an ice pick, and they're describing all the symptoms. It's a bit like me describing the tone and how loud the fire alarm is. It's not really that relevant. It's just telling us that something isn't right, and we need to find out what that root cause is. But most people, how they deal with it, they're so kind of obsessed with the symptoms, they just want to get rid of their symptoms. So they're taking different painkillers, anti-inflammatories, migraine, all these type of drugs to try and numb or disconnect their brain from what's going on in the body. But these symptoms are always trying to tell you something. They're always trying to protect you. So what we do at the clinic is find out, why are they there? What's causing them? We need to really get to the root cause of them. So asking a really good history, doing really great tests. We're the only clinic that does nerve scans, which include thermography scans, surface EMGs. We actually do HRV, monitor of your heart, looking at heart rhythm, skin temperature, sweat production, because it tells us what state the nervous system is. It in that stress state, fight or flight state, of what we call sympathetic dominant or parasympathetic. We also look at surface EMGs, look at muscle tension, where exactly we're getting the contractions in the spine. And from this, alongside the x-rays, we can determine how severe, how long's it been there, and then put together a realistic plan of, how long is it going to take to get you back to health, and what do you need to do personally in your case to get, what do we need to do less of, what do we need to do more of, how do we need to get you to where you want to be with your health, not how do we get rid of your sciatica, how do we get your migraines. The symptoms are the fire alarm. So if you are getting these symptoms, that's your warning sign. Get in touch and we can take good care of it.
And all those procedures that you mentioned there, is that what a new patient can expect from day one when they first come in?
Yeah, we look in detail at all of these things with every single patient. So we'll take that detailed history. We'll then ask more pertinent questions which get to the relevant information we really need. And then we do more specific tests. We do the nerve scans on everyone. And then if we feel it's necessary, then we'll take x-rays of the parts of the spine that we feel that could give us more information of then knowing what we need to do and how we can safely intervene to help that person get back to their health.
What's the most common cause, would you say, of misalignment or maybe causing something like sciatica?
First, most common one is birth. So even a natural birth is pretty stressful on the cranium, the neck, especially if there's any intervention. So anything like forceps, 1-2s, C-section, breech. When there's any traction, torsion, on those delicate little spines, it's very likely to cause misalignment. I feel all babies should be checked, but especially if there's been an intervention. And let's say it's knocked out of alignment or misaligned, then it's not corrected. What's that going to look like 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later? So a lot of the adults I see, we can actually trace back their problems back to a difficult birth or childhood falls, injuries, traumas, car accidents. But yeah, so it's different things like that. And going away from that in terms of trauma, it's the low level repetitive stress. So modern day life, technology, people staring at phones constantly, iPads, laptops, computers. The average person I see gets up in the morning, commutes to work, sits at a desk 6-7 hours, commutes back again, sits on the sofa, puts on Netflix. Hopefully it's not too familiar, but that repetitive stress over a long period of time can cause so much damage. But the problem is everyone around you is doing the same thing and you will not feel it. It's like heart disease. Or we can say, I've just had a fatty meal, my heart hurts. But cumulatively doing that over years will cause heart disease. Exactly the same with your posture and desk, and it is just as detrimental to your health.
And we're always told from an early age too that if there's something wrong, whether it be just not feeling right or we've got an ache or a pain, go and see a doctor. So what would you say about folk coming to see a chiropractor and the benefits of that?
Yeah, it's very different. It's not one or the other. I always think of you need that medical intervention for those emergencies, and I always say I'm not at all anti-medical. We look after a lot of doctors, nurses in the practice, and I say if I fall down the stairs, get hit by a car, get me there quick, put some drugs to me, save my life. But it's not there to get you healthy. It's a bit confusing because it's called National Healthcare Service, but if you went there and said, right, I'm here to get healthy, where do I go? That's not for that. Their job is to help you in crisis. I always say it's a bit like if your house on fire, you call the fire brigade, they come in, they've got axes, they get the door down, they'll come in with the fire and they'll put the fire out. Now, the next day you look at your house, what does it look like? Chiropractors is a bit like the carpenters, the decorators. We're there to make sure your body is performing its best and also prevent the fires. That's the thing, is if you take really good care of your body, the chance of you getting into crisis becomes significantly less. And it would not only help you to prevent problems, but it also take a lot of burden off the NHS and off the doctors, because we do look to educate you about your general well-being, nutrition, your exercise, your posture, you know, what you should be doing to help keep, live a healthy life and a long life, and need as little medical intervention as possible.
Your Harrogate's Wellness Wednesday with O'Connor Chiropractic. Book your initial consultation now at o'connorchiro.co.uk.